So my next, what I'm really here to talk about though is embedded literacy and numeracy. And you might ask, well, why would you deliver literacy and numeracy to prisoners, or why would you deliver it in an embedded fashion? And our prison surveys recently have shown that up to 90% of prisoners have low literacy skills and up to 80% have low numeracy skills. And we have a foundation skills program that's delivered by an outside provider, and they deliver up to 650 prisoners a week and across all of our 19 corrections facilities. So it's a very comprehensive program, and it's very much that foundation skills level. And it's tied obviously to the learning progressions, and they also assess prisoners using the literacy and numeracy for adults assessment tool. Now, coming back to my question, why embedded literacy and numeracy? International research shows that embedding literacy and numeracy within vocational training encourages a greater learner participation, and that's a big key for us, because so often we have a bunch of staunch people sitting in a class like this, and it's really hard to get any of them to interact about reading or anything like that. But if you are teaching the reading and the writing and the maths within a vocational subject that they're engaged with, you get a lot more buy-in very, very quickly. And, I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but certainly within our environment, it doesn't look cool to put your hand up and say you can't read. As a prisoner, it's a sign of weakness, so very few people are kind of voluntarily saying, oh, send me to a reading class. But if you are embedding it within your vocational context, it's just a lot easier for them to slip in and start participating. And I was just reading, probably most of you are familiar with this, but the National Research Development Centre in the UK did quite a comprehensive survey of embedded programs in 2006, and all that survey showed that the embedded programs resulted in better retention, better completions, and much higher level of vocational qualifications achieved. So it's just kind of a no-brainer for us. We want to improve prisoners' chances of gaining qualifications. This is a straightforward process for us. And our philosophy is that the embedded literacy and numeracy is built in. So it's built into what we do rather than bolted on or tacked on at the end. So our objective really is to deliver embedded literacy and numeracy training within correction and mate employment's vocational courses and our employment activities, with a view to both improving prisoners' reading, writing and maths and improving their vocational training outcomes. And that includes an increased achievement of national qualification unit standards, which obviously lead on to national qualifications. And we're fairly young in this game, but we had a good case recently. One of our engineering instructors undertook the National Certificate in Adult Literacy and Numeracy Education about 2 years ago, and I did it with Susan and through Workbase. And Gordon's a Dyden-Moore engineer, and he took a group of 10 prisoners recently and took them all the way through their Level 2 National Certificate in Mechanical Engineering, and had one person got transferred, but 9 completed, and all 9 of them qualified, which is a very high success rate in our field. And they were all doing the embedded literacy and numeracy training that he'd been trained to deliver. And whilst it's early days to quite understand everything about the tool, his graphs all went very much in the right direction. And I rang him up, I said, what did you do? He said, I gave them 30 hours of reading and writing homework. I said, well, it shows. It's a massive shift. And he said, they really loved their vocational course and they loved being able to take it to its full extent. So that's just a little anecdote about the effect that this process is having on our training. So a little bit of history. In mid-2008, we commenced a pilot to upskill 4 of our National Office training staff and 4 of our vocational tutors or instructors in the NCAL. And then since then, we've trained another 42 instructors, and we're still got another cohort to take down to Dunedin in July. So we eventually plan to have 100 out of our 300 instructors able to deliver embedded literacy and numeracy to prisoners within their vocational courses or their employment context. And another piece of our objective is to design and deliver and implement advanced instructor literacy and numeracy development, because we're clear the NCAL is kind of like the starting point. You know, there's a lot more development that our staff require, that we require to really, because we're not literacy specialists, and this is the thing, is our specialisation is vocational training for prisoners. But, you know, we can see the value in this, but there's a lot more development that we need to provide our instructors so that they can make the best use of the opportunity. So just a brief update on our progress. So far, since July 1st this last financial year, we've had 619 prisoners commence vocational courses with embedded literacy and numeracy. It's all consistent with the learning progressions for adult literacy and numeracy. And the things that instructors have reported is an improvement in their participation by learners. And I think that's probably everyone's experience across the board. But real experience, you know, a lot of our guys will say, and look, our instructors are mainly tradespeople, or they're former corrections officers who've come across because they're interested in training. And so many of them go, oh, yep, the lights went on today, which means I think people are starting to get something in the class. You know, so often I think they've been instructing into, you could say, a void. If there's not been the understanding, the underpinning literacy understanding or numeracy understanding, they'd be speaking into somewhat of a void. So this comment from so many of them, the lights went on today, is encouraging that something is working over there. And just a better comprehension of the key concepts that our instructors are trying to deliver. And obviously the improved training outputs like our engineering guy got the other day. So we've had 252 prisoners who are engaged in that training and now registered on the assessment tool. And 110 of those have actually completed an initial assessment and 46 have completed their summative assessment. We only, as a department, got registered on the tool and effectively up and running from the 1st of January. So in many ways we're a little bit behind where many people might be. So it's very early days to say, are there any exciting trends? But there are some lessons that we've, I think, started to learn along the way.